Hello everybody, San here, engineer, MBA, and investor. And in today's video, I want to talk about the latest news on Prime Medicine filing for IPO. I covered that yesterday. I made an extensive video on basically the details of it. Recent details came about that they're basically going about 100 to 200 million dollars at IPO. That means they will be worth about 6 to 800 million market cap once they do go public on their first day or so. But I do want to talk about the reaction, right? Because yesterday's video was more about the facts, and then today is more about opinions and reactions. And of course, Biotech 2K1 and famous user, he or she posted this thread for us. And I think there's some value to this, and I think we should all look into this seriously. Because there are some lessons for all of us, especially in this recession that we're in. We have to be careful. We have to be careful on these promises made from these private companies going public, especially in a time of a recession, right? When you're a private company, you're relying on private investors to fund your ventures. But of course, in a recession, things get really, really tough. So is it because of that Prime Medicine is going public? Is it because they've sort of ran out of money for their private investors, and now they're looking into the public investors, retail investors? Or is it because insiders such as employees, such as existing private investors, are basically wanting to cash out? Couple of details on that note, but I'll get to it in just a second as I go through this thread. So Biotech TK1 starts with, I'm not going to talk about it again. I plan to have nothing to do with this IPO. I suspect this company is going to be public for at least 2 years too early with a tech that isn't fully working. It's interesting choice of words there. They will pump into a huge bubble and dump into retail investors. I suspect it will IPO much like DNA, Ginkgo Bioworks, which I love as a company. They went public at a huge valuation that made no sense. Now it's down over 80% from that level. Of course, Ginkgo Bioworks, I remember they opened up at like 17 or 18 billion dollars market cap. I think they shot up to like 23, 25 billion dollars market cap. And obviously, we know what happened with that stock today. Again, it is sort of a byproduct of the recession that we're in. So I wouldn't say it's just this company that went down 80, 90%, but nonetheless, here Biotech 2K1 continues by saying they must believe that there is still enough CRISPR hype chasing money in the market left to make it work. Unlike DNA, there is no data or validation of this tech yet. I have no plans to participate at any point until I see data that proves the science. As much as I like to call out companies I feel that are exceptional, I also feel I have to call out companies that are extremely risky and dangerous. I made my warning and I will leave it at that. It's up to each person to decide for themselves now. And I think the thread goes on by answering a couple of individuals here. You won't be able to short it for 180 days after it's inside lockup. So obviously there's a lockup period for any company that goes through the traditional IPO. That means that also insiders, employees, and so on will not be able to sell their shares up until 180 days after the IPO, which obviously protects retail investors so that, out of the gate, people don't just sell and get screwed over for the retail investors, right? So Beam had clear data at IPO for sickle cell disease at 60% fetal HB. This is why I bought its IPO. Of course, Beam Therapeutics had some sort of preclinical data on mammals, not on humans. Of course, they still have yet to get any mammal that's on mouse. Any human data that was on mouse. I agree with you. They are 2-3 years too early. So was Beam. Challenge. Have you ever been in a biotech IPO before all drugs exclusive in the discovery chain? Not a single one in IND. Enable a short as soon as possible. Okay. So what are my thoughts here? So first of all, I'm going to agree with biotech in a sense where I think prime editors are yet to be a proven technology, right? I think it's way too early to start talking about prime editors as the proven technology to go forward. I think the interview with Dr. Liu with ARK Invest sort of put some clarity on that. when Dr. Liu was asked, why not just go with prime editors instead of wasting time with CRISPR-Cas9, first gen of CRISPR, or even second gen of CRISPR, like base editors. And he gave a great analogy saying, you don't need to, you still have the car, you still have the boat, you still have airplanes, right? Technically, the airplane will be the best way to get to anywhere when you think about it. If you want to go to, I don't know, a 2 hours drive compared to a flight that's literally like 10 minutes flight, 15 minutes flight, whatever the speed of the flight is, clearly the flight is better. But is it more efficient? Absolutely not. Is it more cost friendly? Absolutely not. And what about the environment and so on, right? So there's a lot of factors in that analogy that I think you can bring over in genome editing. Specific diseases are going to be requiring specific tools, and I think CRISPR-Cas9 is a perfect tool for certain diseases like sickle cell disease, in my opinion. And of course, you have base editors that are more suited for certain other diseases, and then you have prime editors that may be potentially, and I'm using this word carefully, potentially, because it's still way too early. I mean, there was this tweet I saw, and honestly, I'll be honest with you, I sort of thought that prime medicine was a lot older than 2 years old. I mean, they became fruition in sometime in the mid to 2020, but they didn't really start operations as they got funding more in the year of 2021, specifically in July 2021. So when you think about it, this company has really been only in operations fully for a little bit over a year. And obviously they share leadership from Beam Therapeutics. Obviously they share knowledge and they share specific entities and shareholders between those two companies. The point I'm making is that it's way too early for a company to start going public and start making these claims that, and I don't think they're making these claims. I'm just saying that I think what's going to happen right now is you're going to have the same hype that we saw with Beam Therapeutics last year, this year with now Prime Medicine. I think you'll be seeing a lot of, okay, Prime Medicine is the future. This is the tool of the future. And I think for a company that has absolutely no data, I think that's risky. I think that's very, very risky. You have to be careful. I mean, guys, I'm all about technology, okay? I'm all about the technology. I'm all about moving forward. I'm all about being efficient. That's literally my mantra of my life. But, to start backing up and supporting a company that really has no place right now as a public company because they have no sort of data, right? At least Beam Therapeutics has some sort of data as they went public. These guys don't even have data. And to me, it goes back to my statement from yesterday. And I know a lot of people don't want to like this, want to hear it and don't want to hear it, and they wouldn't like it. But ultimately, you have to ask yourself as a retail investors, is it possible that there are some insiders, specifically private investors, that are looking to cash out in this recession and to basically rebalance their portfolio and maybe move their money around? So what they're doing is now trying to capitalize on retail investors. Is it possible? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just speculating in a sense, but I think you have to be careful. There's so many amazing companies in this CRISPR landscape right now today, right? CRISPR Therapeutics, NTLA, Beam Therapeutics, if you want to put them up there, even though they have no patients data, but at least they have some sort of data. Verve Therapeutics, Graphite Bio that dosed their first patient. I know they're not a big topic there, and I'm not a fan of them anyways, but they're still a company with some sort of data and some sort of patient dose there. You have Caribou there, right? So you have even Editas, which has history behind it. So it's just risky in my opinion. I think there's some better plays to be made here. But again, I may be completely wrong. Completely wrong. I may be completely, off the rail there, and Prime Medicine may indeed have amazing data. They may indeed have that technology that really enables us to go to the next level when it comes to genome editing. But again, is it too early? That's the question. Maybe you make the bet today and maybe you're right in 5 years, but between today and 5 years, the opportunity cost, that's what you have to think about. No one is saying that medicine is doing nothing special. No one is saying that the technology is bad. No one is saying that technology has no space in this space, right? It has no place in this space. What we're saying is maybe it's a bit too early for this company to go public. Maybe there are some incentives for this company to go public that may go against retail investors in the short term. But of course, in the long term, if you have that long-term mentality, I'm talking like 5, 8 years, 10 years, I think there is something to be said about Prime Medicine. And again, they do share knowledge, they do share leadership with Beam Therapeutics, so it's not like they're completely on their own. I think those companies are feeding each off each other, and of course, you have Dr. Liu's lab there that feeding them in a sense there because obviously he has investments in Beam Therapeutics and so on. So we'll see where this goes. I think it's a really interesting topic to discuss. I think that's gonna be my only and last video on the reaction of Prime Medicine going public. I think going forward, I'll be covering any sort of detail that we get from this company. I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing that this is happening. I just hope, I know I said it yesterday video and someone agreed with me there. I just hope Mammoth Biosciences went public, right? Mammoth Biosciences is just an amazing company. And I wouldn't be surprised because of this, Mammoth would go public. I would not be surprised. The only difference I have with Mammoth Biosciences, they actually are doing a lot more than just therapeutics, genome editing, right? They're actually diagnostics. They already got FDA clearance for the pandemic for one of the hardware that they developed. So it's not like they don't have the foot in the door in the commercial side of things. And plus, they're back with amazing leadership from the likes of Dr. Doudna and so on. And they have such an amazing leadership with what's her name? I forgot her name, but she's the sister of one of the Olympians there. We just Dr. Haruni had an interview with her. I just completely Lisa. Maybe I'm wrong there, but Lisa Chan, I think. Completely wrong, but they're back with amazing leadership. So, and young folks, right? They're not like 40, 50 years old. I think they're late 20s, early 30s, their leadership. Their CEO is like 30, I think, or maybe 31. I might be wrong, but we'll see where we go from there. I'm a huge fan of Mammoth, but of course, this video is about Prime Medicine. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think, guys. It is a Sunday. Very rainy here in Toronto. Hopefully, if you guys are living in the East Coast there, you're not getting hit by that tropical storm. I know it's hit the Eastern Canada there, but I know in the eastern side of US, it's being hit there. Hopefully, you are safe and well. And hopefully, you are spending a great time with your family on Sunday. It is going to be an important week this week for both the stock market, but also I think for everybody. I think a lot of people are getting busy. I'm getting so busy this week. Last 2 weeks have been hectic for me. This weekend was a little bit relaxed, but this week is going to be really, really hectic, but I'll try to cover as much as I can. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Do like this video if you're not, subscribe if you're not, and let me know what you guys think about this potential IPO from Prime Medicine. Thank you so much.